I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome back to the Hightown After Show, where we break down all things Hightown. I'm your moderator, Gabriela Castanilla, and after a very necessary and little hiatus, we are finally back, and we are going to be talking about episodes 4 and 5. And we're missing a couple people. Carla couldn't be here, neither could Div. We are going to miss them this episode, but me and Monty are going to hold it down until next week when they come back. Monty, how are you doing?
I'm so good, ready to talk about this show. It's been so long, so much has happened. Can't wait to get into it.
I know. I think we should get right into it. We're going to be talking, overall just about how the characters developed in each episode. Like you said earlier, Monty, that the episodes 4 and 5 go hand in hand. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about Jackie and, how she's doing from episode 4 to 5. Monty, what did you think?
Girl, like my shirt says, let's whine about it, because Jackie really made me want to have several glasses of wine. You have so much hope with her in episode 4 because you see that she's trying, and not just trying with her meetings, but with work. She puts in that great idea to catch that guy where she's like, let's go all the way to Rhode Island and take them all down. And you just have this hope. It's like, oh my gosh. And then you meet Evonne, the love of her life that, forgot about her because of how terrible she is. And you have all this hope. And then just because she has a good day at work and gets her job back and she starts partying again, I was like, I'm done. I'm done, Jackie. I'm done with you. I was so upset that happened literally overnight.
Yeah, it was so refreshing to see her do the right thing and make the right decision to get her life on track. You're like, finally, rehab worked, everything worked. She's just grateful to have her job back. And, it's like almost everything, like you said earlier, was, falling together. And then all of a sudden it falls apart and you're like, okay, I'm sick of it now. I'm like, I don't feel bad for you if you get in trouble. And you kind of see her going in that direction right away after, she gets her way. I think that the whole Krista situation is really messing her up. And, like she said to her ex-girlfriend who she's trying to get back, it's really messing me up. And she didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
I think what was the hardest thing for me was, Krista would still be alive. And a lot of things, Jackie's actions have so many consequences that she doesn't realize. A simple drink at the bar to celebrate her work, she could have gotten pulled over, and she's not supposed to be driving, or any little thing. And I think what was really hard for her, Krista could have been alive if she was sober and was doing what she was supposed to be doing and helped her. If her phone was on, what did you think when you saw that Krista would be like? Did you feel like that was going to happen?
When Krista called her, or when what?
Yeah, did you feel that was going to happen, that she wasn't going to get to Krista in time, that, her actions were leading her down the wrong road, or that she was going to get to her and then Krista gets killed and you're just like, oh, crap. Was that a surprise to you?
I was surprised at how quickly it kind of all unraveled for her. I was expecting her to show up at the hotel and maybe Krista be gone, and that she was going to still be chasing her, or looking for her. It did catch me off guard that it was that's it. You messed up one night, and like you just said, and Krista was killed. It just was like, dude, you couldn't just have a couple drinks. Listen, okay, you celebrated, you had a couple shots, go ahead, okay, but you didn't have a couple shots. You got smashed, went back to doing your coke, went back to doing everything. You even had a naked dude sleeping right next to you, and we all got to see that. So thanks, Jackie. Literally just ruined it for so many of us. But I was super, super surprised at what happened with Krista at the end of that episode. I was like, whoa, you felt bad before. This is gonna affect you even more. But in reality, I was like, I felt like Evonne, I love that. I love that story of Evonne, and Evonne seeing her and being shocked at how good she was doing and believing her. It was such a crushing moment. I was just like, Jackie, it's all about you. It's all about you, isn't it? Even in the worst of times, it's all about you.
That's a great point. That sums it up perfectly. Is it's all about her all the time. And like you said, Evonne, it kind of represents the audience, I feel like, with saying, wow, this is such a shock. This is such a new side of Jackie that we haven't seen. I'm going to believe it. And we all did believe it. And we were like, yes, maybe this is where it gets good, for her. And she, she goes down the crime path of where she's, looking for, all the stuff that she's been looking for.
Right.
And then it just takes a turn so quickly just because she gets a little bit of a small victory, and she shouldn't have a beer because she was trying
No.
to be sober, and but that's also her prerogative always is just to have a good time. And that's always, I feel like, going to be deep down Jackie, no matter what. She's a messed up person. And like you said, now she's even more messed up. So I'm nervous for how dark it's going to get for her in the next couple episodes.
Yep.
Speaking of very dark, like you said, that death was like very
Ugh.
intense. And what did you think of that scene?
So part of me was like a little bit happy that Junior didn't do it himself, right?
I
Because
agree.
he technically didn't do it. He was there, he was a part of it 100%. But I
Right.
was a little happy when it was like starting, it seemed like it wasn't gonna happen and that they were gonna leave or maybe take her with them. But when Osito grabbed that iron and just put an end to Krista Collins, I was like, but why am I surprised? In the first 90 seconds of the pilot, Osito shot Sherry in the face. So
Yeah.
why was I surprised? But I was shocked. I enjoyed it. Like it was a good shock value. You know what I mean?
Right. It
Yeah,
was,
I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a very brutal, gory, intense way to die. Yeah, it was very good to watch. It was such a good scene with Junior and
Mhm.
Osito, and they all played such a good role. But it was very
Mhm.
hard to watch because you really like that character, Krista. She said she was going back to rehab the next week, and you thought
Yeah.
that she was going to improve, and then she gets killed. And I thought it was interesting, the scene with Osito and Junior in the car. Osito kind of just showed his human side and was like,
Mhm.
it's okay to be messed up. That was really messed up in there. What did you think of seeing his human side? Because, like you said, the first 90 seconds we're scared of him in the pilot, and from then on, we've only seen him act so tough, and then all of a sudden he's like, "It's okay, Junior, to be super messed up," which Junior is. So, what did you think?
I thought that was a great scene, like you just said. We only saw the darkness in Osito, and then for like a small brief moment with Junior, we saw why he is who he is. He was like, the first time I killed somebody, I was 15. 15. And to say that, and then he said something that sat with me, where he was like, the dude that I killed like was in my nightmares so many times, but you can't tell anybody that because gangsters don't feel like that. Gangsters
Yeah.
shouldn't have that type of feeling. And then he said, but one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna think of breakfast. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like what a what a good way to understand why he is who he is right now in
Absolutely.
that situation with Junior. And if anything, it gave Junior, I don't want to say confidence, but comfort,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I totally agree. I think it's nice to see how his characters develop and like who he is as a person, his background a little bit. I think it's important that all of them get, a good amount of time in each episode to figure out who they are and why they are the way they are. Um, Obviously Jackie's the most complicated character, and we've seen that, but it's nice to see, side characters showing their history and their background. I feel so bad for Junior. Oh, he's I feel like such a sweet guy and wants the best for everyone. And I know that you were the one, right, Monty? Like the first couple episodes, you were like, "Oh, I love him. Like I'm rooting for him. I want him to be better." Was that you?
Yeah. You want him to come out of this. You want him to come out of that world. You could tell that he's trying to be like a good dad, trying to make amends, trying to stay sober, and which we see it's hard for so many people. Even Krista, eventually, she was like, "How?" I don't know. She said she was like 45 days, 60 days, and she gave in. You know how hard it is, and you just want to root for him, and you can tell that like he wants to do good and that he wants to help, and like it was such a blow, honestly. Like in these two episodes, we saw him go from that guy that you could be proud of, that he's your partner and your baby daddy, to a guy where you're like, how did you become this? But that world he's in, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to trap once you're in and you know too much. That's it. You either die, or you stay in it,
Yeah,
and you die while you're in it. It's sad and it's heartbreaking. He's trying to make amends with the parents of
I
his baby
know.
mother. It's hard. And then that last scene in episode 5 where he's crying and you're just like, oh, I feel so bad. That's gonna change him too. It's the same thing with Jackie. It's like the both of their hearts break over the same person for different reasons. Isn't that
Right.
crazy? Like, and they're still connected, which is
And it's so connected. And like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he's like the whole time been trying to protect Jackie. Like the whole time, he's like, no, 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 you don't need to kill this girl. No, 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 it's fine, no big deal. The whole time, he's like telling her to stay away because he knows how bad these guys are, and he's been protecting her the whole time, and also protecting his girl. You know what? I'm losing her name. Donna. He's protecting Donna by not telling her the situation, and then you kind of struggle where you're like, why don't you tell her? Because then maybe you two could like pack up your stuff and go. Maybe she'd be like, you know what? Let's get out of here, honey. Let's go down. We'll go to Chicago. We'll go to LA. But he's trying to protect everyone, and it just ended in the like worst possible way for him to, you know, see what exactly Osito and Frankie are all about. He didn't want that, but now he's in it.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Jackie was gonna be there when Osito and Junior were there. Do you know, like,
Right?
when Jackie and her friends were going to, you know, walking down the street, I thought they were gonna like catch a ride or something and make it there at the same time, and it was gonna be a complete, you know, shit show. But it ended up being a shit show for Krista and not until, you know, the next morning, which is really heartbreaking. You know, and then I wanted to talk about, you know, Renee and Ray. What their whole falling in love deal. I mean, they were both supposed to be doing it for, you know, undercover reasons. Renee was doing it, you know, for her, what is that, just baby daddy? Is that what you call Frankie? I don't know.
Yeah, her baby daddy for sure. Baby daddy who sometimes gives her money, not all the time, but sometimes.
Sometimes they still hook up in jail, something like that.
Some like yeah, some. It's definitely has its own title what they have going on, dude. Like, I just can't. Jackie stresses me out and she upsets me because I want her to do well and I want her to get out of these troubles that she's in, because you know she's like, I know she saw a dead body, but her troubles are like, you like to do drugs and you like to do alcohol, but you have a lot going for you. You have a good job, you got good friends, you got a girl that loves you, and then there's Ray. And Ray, I just want to get him and I want to. He is just a joke. He's a player. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I know they're insinuating that he's like falling for Renee and that she's falling for him. And I'm not saying he's not. It's just that if it came down to it, I think he would pick himself over protecting Renee. And like I think even if it's true, it's like he's not gonna go full in. You know what I mean? To the emotional side of falling in love with Renee. And he's so frustrated. I can't stand him. I know he's like really cute to Frankie Jr. Like that was precious, taking them to see Dirty Dancing, like super, super cute. But no, he still sees her as his informant. And she sees him as like, oh, something's happening here. Like we're starting to really like each other, you know? But he doesn't see it like that. No, she's still his informant. And that's what pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because during that scene where he goes to the car and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, Ray?" And he talks to himself. I don't know if he's questioning if like him going to the mechanic shop, or if he's questioning him falling in love, you know, with with Renee. I don't know. I thought you must love her or her son because you let him pee on you, you know, while he was doing that scene. I was like, you must have something, but also he might be playing a really good part. He's very manipulative, and you know, I didn't like that scene where he was really, really rough with I don't know that guy's name. He works for Osito. He's one of the dealers. He's a smaller character.
Yes. The one that he went undercover.
Yeah.
That sentiment. I agree. I was like, you're playing with him just the way you play with everybody. It's like he even told them, he's like, oh, I was a Boy Scout too. And the guy got so excited and was like, what troop were you in? And it was like, oh, I'm lying to you. I'm just trying to get you to do what I want. Right. And you're like, dude, this dude just got his ass whooped and you didn't even care. You were ready for him to get killed by by the other white skinny dude, Shrizzle?
It's one of those names. He said it's an Eminem looking one.
Yes, I mean his name is Sean, like his name is Sean, but they call him Krizzle or something. Yeah, he's so frustrating, and like they have hinted to us that he has a past of doing this, you know, with Sherry, with the other female cop that said something to him. Like it just seems like he has this bad rep, and he keeps getting away with it. And I swear, if he gets away with this all the way through and nobody beats him a little bit, I'm gonna be upset. He needs to get like his butt beat up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he needs to be put back in his place and realize he needs to not be a dirty cop and use people like you said, the kid that's because you knew became the informant was like, "Hey, let me just, why don't we put a wire on you?" He's completely, manipulating his emotions and he's a recovering drug addict clearly. And it's even sad, Ray's partner goes and saves him in the bar and then he's like, "Did I do good?" And it's like, "Oh, your heart breaks. What a sweet man." He's like, "Yeah, you did
I
good."
know.
And Ray doesn't even care. He's going to let him I feel like he would have let him just get beat. That would have been it.
Yes. Oh, if his partner didn't stop him, his partner wanted to get out of the car a lot sooner than Ray let him. I totally agree. Ray would have been okay if that dude was near death. And he wasn't. He just got beat up real bad. But like, dude, you gotta, man, there has to be some sort of goodness out of this. And I don't see any goodness. And with Jackie, the difference is like, you see the goodness. She's trying to save Krista. Like, despite everything spiraling out, she's still thinking of Krista. And it's like, Ray, who are you thinking of? Because I don't see any good coming out of all this bad that you're doing.
Like his partner said, his partner's a family man and he's not. And if you want to go and mess things up, then that's on you, but don't involve me. And like you said, he's always for himself. And so I think that might just carry on throughout the rest of the series. And something needs to happen where he gets put back in his place or gets caught because he just takes advantage of everyone just to figure out whatever information he can. And it is very frustrating because you see all these vulnerable people.
Do you
Renee,
think
no, go ahead.
do you think they're gonna end up together? Do you think that's what the writers or like the showrunners wanted the audience to feel for us to want them together? Because I don't want them together. I like Renee. I think Renee is great. Is a great mom. Like, she mentioned that she was getting high when she was pregnant early on, but she hasn't. She's taking care of her kid. She stands up for herself. Like, I like her.
Right.
I don't want them to end up together. Do you want them to end up together?
No, not really, but I also don't want her with Frankie either. And and she tells Frankie like, "Oh, about that thing." I think she's gonna tell him that she's not doing it anymore, and I think she's gonna end things. But it scares me because he wants to see her in person. He seems like he would be very pissed off very quickly about her giving up on him. And Frankie seems like a decent guy at times. Like when he wanted to talk to his son. It's just a very complicated love situation. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to end up together or not. I'm curious. I think that they both have feelings and it's gone way too far for an informant, obviously, in a relationship like that with a
Yeah.
officer. But what do you think?
I like I said, I don't want them to end up together. You would have to put Ray in a Prince Charming outfit for the next 4 episodes and like convince me. But if we're just gonna see the same Ray, and I don't care if he gets Osito, if he gets Frankie, I don't care. I don't like him and I don't want him to have a happily ever after because I don't think he deserves it. At the same time, you're right. I don't want Renee to end up with Frankie either. I think Renee needs to like get Frankie Jr. and pack up her stuff and get out of there because whatever Frankie finds out about what's happening with her and Ray, it's not gonna go well. There's no way Frankie is just gonna be like, oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna do anything to her. She is my baby mama. But I don't think Frankie would just sit back and let her be happy and free. She's gonna have to take off. And I don't think it's gonna happen. I just really hope they don't end up together. That's just what I don't want.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a complete 180, I guess you could say, like for the next couple episodes. Like I think a lot of stuff is going to happen just because it ended so seriously and so many. Krista dying changes a lot of things for a lot of people, and I think it's going to be a mess a little bit. But that's I'm looking forward to seeing how these characters handle it and what happens from here on out. I think, like you said, I think you made the prediction a couple episodes ago saying that they're all going to meet up or like one day just end up being at the same place, which I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Krista's motel room, but I'm curious to see if it's going to happen these next couple episodes. A lot of cussing and violence is going to be happening. And speaking of cussing and violence, you have a little game for us to play, and it's called F-Bomb.
F-bombs. So did you not think that when you watched the show? Weren't you like, man, that's a lot of F-bombs and every variation of an F-bomb. So I decided to count how many F-bombs were thrown in episode 4 and 5 and any variation of the F-bomb. So not just, it could be plural, it could be an action, it could be added as a descriptive word, whatever. I counted it. So how many, ballpark, in one episode, Episode 4. How many do you think they said?
What's the rating this show has? Is it rated R?
It's R and it's stars, and I think it's like a, I think it's Sunday night is when it's released. So it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, because I know there's a certain limit, like to PG-13. I'm gonna obviously rated R because you see a lot of stuff going on. The past couple episodes that was shocking. Okay, F-bombs.
In just one episode, and it's roughly around the same number in one episode.
Okay.
Roughly about the same number too.
I'm gonna say 80.
Girl, you are right on the money. If we were right next to each other, I would pour you a shot of tequila because that was beautifully done. In episode 5, and maybe I missed 1 or 2, but I was like diligent. So episode 4, I counted 79 F-bombs or variation of it. And in episode 5, 81.
Oh, I was right in the middle. That was the medium, so it's perfect.
That was perfect. And so I decided to do a little research on F-bombs and movies and stuff. For a PG-13 movie, you can only have 1 F-bomb, and it cannot be used as a verb. It has to be just the word. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be using it as a verb or using it sexually. No, that makes it an automatic R rating. So for a PG-13, you get to use 1 F-bomb and just the F word, definitive, that's it. But I was like, let's see what movies have the most F-bombs, because this is like more than an F-bomb a minute. If you think about it, it's like a 60-minute episode. We got 80 F. It's more than 1 per minute. So I decided to look it up. And I'm only going to talk about, because there's one documentary about swear words. So that one has the most, like, yes. But if for a scripted movie, most of us have seen it, but it is listed that The Wolf of Wall Street has the most F-bombs, and it's a lot. People argue around the number, but it's definitely over 500. They say it's 569 F-bombs in 180 minutes. That's like, yo, do you say anything else?
They're using the F words as commas at that point.
I know, but I think about it, when I saw Wolf of Wall Street, I was like, oh yeah, but I didn't notice it as much as I noticed it in Hightown. Maybe because Hightown is only an hour, so like I don't know, but I didn't feel like that in Wolf of Wall Street when I watched it.
Maybe Wolf of Wall Street, like, it's because you're expecting it, because there's so much like goring, like there's a lot of goriness and just raunchiness and stuff going on that you're like, oh, F-bombs are the least thing that you're paying attention to. But I think in Hightown it's a lot of the times it's very mellow, and so you're like, oh wow, okay, Jackie's using that a lot, or they're using that word a lot. I think there's a couple shows that I've watched, I'm like, oh, okay, they're saying it a lot for each sentence. But yeah, that is crazy.
It is crazy. So Wolf of Wall Street is number 1, and then the second movie is Summer of Sam, which I've never seen it, and it drops to 435. But the rest of them are about 400-ish, like Casino, 422, Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, 408, and Straight Outta Compton, 392. So Wolf of Wall Street has it like a lot more, but it is a longer movie too. Right. I feel like we forget that it's like 3 hours long, and other movies are not that long. But Casino's long. I don't know how long Straight Outta Compton is, but yeah, F-bombs all over the place, girl.
There is gonna be so many more. I actually like that game. That was interesting, and I like that I got so close. I thought I was being too generous. I was like, no, maybe not. I don't notice them as much as I notice the naked scenes. And did you notice the scene with the naked guy? Who that guy is? Have you ever seen Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
He's the guard in Orange is the New Black. He's one of them.
The white guy with the mustache?
Uh-huh. He's one of the guards in Orange is the New Black.
Oh.
I was like, of course he's playing, a similar role, and he's wearing like a similar uniform. I'm like, oh, I totally know who that is. Yeah. Go back and look up. You'll know exactly who he is. I thought it was interesting. It was like, he's playing a similar character and kind of a similar like attitude the character has. So it was, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool that they did that.
I thought he was like, I think I've seen him in Sons of Anarchy, which he plays like those white supremacist type. If it's the same guy, I'm thinking with Sons of Anarchy and like the motorcyclists and all that. That's who I thought it was. But now I'm going to go back and look at Orange is the New Black and see, because I haven't seen that in so long. But it's like, I can only think of the other guy that plays the other security guard that sleeps with the girl that goes to How to Get Away with Murder. I can't even think of his name. But that's the security guard I'm thinking of right now. But Yeah, that scene. I literally was talking to my boyfriend about so much sex in the show, and I was like, you see ladies all over the place, like
Oh
in
yeah.
every episode, multiple times. I was like, nah. I was like, why don't we ever see dudes? We never see dudes. And he's like, nobody wants to see a dude. And then we saw the dude, and he was like, and how was it? And I was like, unpleasant. And he's like, exactly. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody sees that the way people look at women's bodies. It's like, and I was like, yeah, it was unpleasant. You're right. I take it all back. I don't want it to be even Steven. Never mind.
Yeah, it was. It's still shocking. No matter if it's a boy or girl, I'm just like, oh, that's how the show is gonna be. I don't think I'll ever get used to it in any of the shows.
They make it so normal. They try to normalize it
Yeah,
so much.
It's the natural body, so I guess that's how it should be. But I think over here in America, we're not used to that
Right.
raunchiness. But I think we're gonna see more of it. So for episodes 6 and 7, which we will be doing next week. We don't have any news this week because Div is not here, and it was a last minute thing. I hope he's doing okay, and I hope Carla's okay. But for next week's episode, what do you think is going to happen? What are your predictions?
So this has to hit Jackie real bad. I feel like she's going to lose her job that she potentially has right now. There's no way. If she was already so traumatized and so messed up from Sherry, this really has to like send her over the hill. And I hope that somebody comes to save her. Maybe Ray, it just happens to be at the right place at the right time, maybe picks up the phone and doesn't do it out of the goodness of his heart because I think he sucks, but maybe he will be her saving anchor in a way of her not, completely falling off the grid and completely losing it. I'm really worried about Junior. Like I think he, in order to get out, he's either gonna have to be completely honest with Donna and like pack up and leave, or it's gonna just I don't even know. He might get killed. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I'm so worried about him. Super worried about him. And I do think that Renee is developing feelings for Ray. I really do. I'm not saying Ray isn't. So I think we're gonna see more of that. I think like you said, maybe Renee is gonna have to talk to Frankie, and maybe she's gonna tell Frankie something, but I don't think she's gonna be completely honest. I think she will say like, "Oh, I'm not really talking to him. It didn't work out. Like, I'm not into him. Like, I'm not getting any info." But I don't think she's gonna be completely honest because I think she's smart. She might be falling for Ray, but she knows what she's doing. She's gonna keep him right here and like keep testing the waters and keep seeing what Ray can bring to the table,
Yeah. Even though
What about you?
even though she said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to
Right.
be for that's no more. I think that she's just saying that too. I agree. I think she's developing feelings, but I think she's going to keep digging, and if it comes down to it, if say, Frankie gets out in the next couple episodes, I think she is absolutely going to be like, go to Frankie and ditch Ray. So maybe that's my prediction. Frankie will get out and all hell's gonna break loose, and she's gonna go to Frankie and spill the beans on everything, and then Ray's gonna be shit out of luck. And as far as Jackie, I think she's gonna go down a dark hole, like you said, and I'm hoping it's Junior that saves her. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Just because they're like best friends. That's they're best friends. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's what happens, and that Junior does survive because I love his character very much. But I have a feeling that my prediction is that a couple episodes, and I'm actually really looking
This prediction. Okay, never mind. I'm taking it back.
like you said, because he's playing her.
Yeah. All right. I think I could do that. Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. So for next episodes, those are our predictions. If you guys like this after show, please don't forget to hit that like button and comment down below what you guys think. What are your predictions? And if you're in the live chat, thank you for interacting with us. Sorry, Carla wasn't here to interact with you guys, but I know that her and Div are looking forward to the next episode. Monsi, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me across social media at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. What about you, Gabby?
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Instagram at Gabriela Castania and on Twitter at Gabby Castania. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll buzz you guys later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.